Okay.
And then it is 1:14. So hour and a half.
2:45.
2:45.
2:45.
That is
I have
time.
to sneeze.
That math sounds right.
Yeah.
For all of you just joining us now, we are waiting for
We're waiting
Dave
for
to
Dave.
sneeze.
Dave to sneeze. He said he had something to complain about.
Now I have to complain about two things. One, that the sneeze isn't happening. And two, I know we have these massive shows that are only like 8 to 10 episodes, but why are like Scrubs and like the Malcolm in the Middle reboot like only like 4 to 9?
Apparently
Because I have a big gripe about this.
the Malcolm one, I saw an interview with Frankie Muniz that apparently they were pitching. Originally, it was a Malcolm in the Middle movie.
Yeah.
And then
No, I saw that, but
instead they
Classic
ended up
Winter Soldier
dividing-
movie.
So exactly. So it is one of those like. Apparently, it is a 2-hour movie, but they just split it into 4 parts.
yeah, no, you can feel it when you're watching it. But I will
Yeah.
say it's such a good setup for more show that I'm just mad that I'm not getting like 23 episodes, and I'm sick of it.
You want to get back in the middle.
I do want to get back in the middle. I want to go back to Sacred Heart Hospital for longer than what they're giving me.
Hopefully, they will.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll expand.
Yeah.
I suppose.
No, I'm especially salty because I just finished Scrubs last night, and that was how I found out that was the last episode. I was like, wait a sec, this feels like a finale. I was like, damn it.
That's fair.
I was like, not even 10 episodes? Crap. Yeah.
Do you think they should do a crossover with the Mummy? And Scrubs.
I was going to say,
Yes.
this is related, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
is. I would like to see JD become the one that goes missing and then come back 8 years later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Or Turk, and then he's just like, Brown Bear, what's happening?
And he's just spewing vomit or whatever the fuck.
Yep. Yep.
No spoilers.
Yep.
That may not happen in the movie.
That may or may not have happened.
I think it's actually in the trailer.
maybe.
There's a little bit of
I
vomit.
didn't actually watch too many trailers.
There's
for
a
this one.
lot of vomit in this movie.
There's a lot of vomit. This is a mean movie.
It is a little mean.
Yeah.
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 Also, should we rename this podcast Lee Cronin's We Need One More?
Yes. This is where it pops up like.
Yeah, perfect. On the intro,
Yeah.
it'll be Lee Cronin's We Need One More. Not to make more work for you, Dave.
Oh yeah, no.
This
but
episode
it's
comes
good.
out the day after it's being recorded.
Yeah, I have.
You don't have to do that.
I have a tight turnaround, but
But
I
if you
will be
don't-
doing custom cards.
There
for
you
this,
go.
so.
There you go. Yeah, whole
Perfect.
new intro. It'll be good. Dave's
Yeah.
got it. Dave's got it.
You only have a show tonight also, so I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
just
only
do it.
have a matinee.
No pressure.
Guess it's time to roll that intro.
Probably.
Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Here we go.
Welcome to a series of podcasts discussing series of films.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
In a world inundated with prequels, sequels, spin-offs, and reboots, we ask the question,
Do we need one more? I think we do.
I think we don't.
Welcome back to another episode of We Need One More.
I just realized, should we?
Sorry, Lee Cronin's We Need One
Lee
More.
Cronin's We Need One More. I just realized we're in a new space for people watching.
Oh, this is the first one?
I think so.
Yeah, well,
Not on
If you're not on
if you're not following
Patreon,
us
then
on
yes.
Patreon,
You
then
fucking
you've probably
losers. I'm
this
kidding.
is the first time.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's not kidding, but if you're not following
This is
us
a
on the
bit we've
Patreon, then
established
you
on the
know
This is a
So-
polite plug for the Patreon
Yes,
to
it
entice
is.
you to want to do it out of your own will.
A bit has been built that I'm very aggressive with this audience,
Yeah.
and it is
Well,
just a bit.
We agreed on a positive, slight nudging, and Matt heard negging. So
Yeah, I really went full throttle.
Let's berate.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I went Charlie's Angels full throttle on this.
yeah, you did. You're doing
Um,
spin kicks and everything.
What can I say? I'm committed. But yeah, we're in a new space. Next
Welcome.
week's episode will not be here,
No, probably
nor
not.
will the next.
Next week's episode.
Oh, next week's episode actually will be here.
No,
or maybe.
it won't be.
No, it won't be.
because Dish isn't gonna be here.
That's right.
So
But then, so you'll get
Oh,
back to this space in
in
a couple
general-
months.
he's gonna put us back in our cages and let us figure it out.
Yeah,
In
from
general,
there-
if you're following, we got a little mumbo jumbo with some technical difficulties and
It's a wibbly
scheduling.
wobbly, timey wimey
So
situation.
we're
Yes.
a tiny bit thrown off.
2 weeks ago, we
But-
said we were going to cover this movie, and then last week we said this week is The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of those aren't true.
So, if you're not caught up, there are 3 other Mummy movies to
It's-
watch. Or
No,
just
2.
2.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Just
just
the third
2.
one.
Just 2.
And in general,
Brendan Fraser and Tom Cruise. And today we're covering Lee Cronin.
Yes.
And there's also Devil Wears Prada, so go catch up on that because next week we're doing Devil Wears Prada 2. that's the plan.
Our schedule approach for the podcast is just like it could be applied to anyone's favorite time travel movie.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. It's like
They're
the
gonna
X-Men
keep coming
timeline.
out.
Yeah, next week's episode is going to take place during this episode, but in the rafters.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all this
Yeah.
to say, we're in a new studio space set thing, and we've recorded some episodes, but they won't come out for a while. So there's going to be a little. This is also just for people that are on video.
And if you're on
People who are
audio, it
listening
doesn't
on
matter.
audio
If
don't give a
you're
fuck.
Nathan and you're running, stop
Stop.
running, first of all.
Yes.
and
and
take
then
a
don't
look at
worry
the
about
new
it.
set.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
This
Look
will
at
have
it.
more stuff eventually.
There, it'll
Probably by the
continue.
end of the season.
We got
the
new
very last
chairs.
episode.
That's
We
fun.
We did.
We do.
But the other people on Patreon have seen that.
And if
Yeah.
you like this and you can't wait for more, follow us on the Patreon because there's episodes. Up
Yeah,
there
and
where
it
we are
it helps us acquire more chairs. I once heard
A doomsday situation.
Yeah.
I've heard a wise man say once that your wealth in life can be, what's the word, like can be measured in the amount of chairs you have.
That is true.
So we
Because-
want more chairs.
The more chairs, the more company.
Are
we
you
can
saying
have.
you need one more chair?
I need one more chair.
It is. We did kind of fuck
need
us
more?
with a title for a podcast that's a pretty ubiquitous phrase.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'd be like,
I
hey,
need one more.
It
are we
said
out
a
of mac
couple.
and cheese? Should we pick up some? Do we need more? And then it's like,
It happens at my work, and
Yeah,
people will look
it's-
at me.
yeah, they
Whenever it's
laser
said.
focus in.
Yeah.
The people at my job don't give a shit about me, so
Well,
It's the
I'm an extra
the Rock.
when I work there.
The Rock with the
yeah. The eyebrow.
look and
The boss baby of it all.
yeah,
Like,
the gunshot.
The boss baby. When are we gonna get the Rock baby? It's
So soon. Can I point
possibly in the
something
Moana movie.
that.
I don't know if
fucking
this
terrifying.
gets too meta, but like, do you guys feel like the start of this episode is telling to the movie that we watched?
that
this
we're not
week?
talking about the movie.
That we're not talking about the
No.
movie.
No, we're,
How far
we're
can
trying
we
to
go?
slip in what movie we're talking about. The way this movie
How far-
slips in its Egyptology.
We can go
Yeah.
pretty. We can go pretty far. What'd you guys eat for lunch today?
I have not eaten today, so.
Oh,
I had 2 taquitos
that's pretty good.
Oh,
and 2
I
That's
lied.
pieces of coffee.
I had an Archer beef stick. It's kind of like the chopstick,
Sure, but not. But a different
but
brand.
different.
different brand. Yeah.
That's pretty. That's interesting stuff for a podcast to talk
It is.
about.
Well,
Especially a film podcast.
as we stated last week in Devil Wears Prada, we tell the story of the movie through the food that we are
That is-
attracted to.
That is true.
And I will say, not enough meals in this movie.
Let me know
No.
when you get lightheaded and I got a cheese cube for you.
Thank you.
there you go. There you go.
What if I did? I see Dave like,
I would gladly
Here you
eat
go.
that cheese cube. I like cheese, so I
As-
am part hamster and mouse. So.
As riveting as I'm sure this is for people listening, we should probably
Yeah.
talk about.
Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yeah.
do we do
Alright, so-
time markers on YouTube? Like, should we say, hey, this is when you should actually start it if you actually want to hear about the movie?
No.
No, it's too much work,
See,
isn't
that,
it?
that
Yeah.
is more work. We should
Cool.
be
We
doing those
don't.
things. But
You know how
Wow.
we do the new movies to attract new audiences, and then we spend the first 10 minutes talking about food?
Yeah. Turns
Well, we're
out
really just trying to promote other things.
Yeah.
You know?
This-
like I
this
could
podcast
really go for
is-
a Chipotle bowl.
this
I'm
podcast
going.
is more about people or more for people who like to hear us talk than really the content.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't watch any of these movies.
I don't. I just like to hear myself talk. So
I do too. It's why you start
That's
a podcast.
why we needed
So I started a
Headphones.
podcast. That's
Yeah.
why I said I would edit the podcast. so I
Listen
could
to ourselves talk,
Mhm.
avoid therapy,
Yes.
and inflate my own self-importance.
Yes.
And
That's why I
really
did
fulfill
it.
the prophecy for us.
Of like
Podcast.
just
You got to
being
do it.
A white guy
Yeah.
with an opinion.
Give
Give
I
me
was
a
hoping-
microphone.
I was hoping to lead it so someone else would say it, but yeah.
Yeah. I got
Anyways,
it.
we should talk about the Mummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to go spoiler free for a
we'll
little
do a
bit.
little spoiler-free.
Spoiler alert, it's scary.
It is. Does Dish
Dish-
want to
No,
start?
not yet.
Dish,
I
do
want to
you
say
wanna
it when we get to there.
All right.
Okay, we want.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a spoiler free moment. We're going to get there and I will tell you. You have to watch it though.
Dave,
You got to join me.
what's your relationship and
I-
experience of this film?
I watched
leading
this,
up to.
I watched this movie. That is what I did.
All right. Well,
No,
from start to end,
From start to end, yeah.
in a packed theater,
no.
in a theater that had barely any room.
We're
Yeah.
sharing the picture, but
Yeah, it'll be on our social
We'll
media.
post the
When we
picture. You can
post
see it. We watched this in
Alone.
an empty theater.
Empty. Granted, it was a Monday.
It was a Monday, midday.
Even then.
But
It's opening weekend.
It was
no?
a Monday evening.
No, wait.
that's true. It actually was an evening. It was evening.
Opening weekend though.
It was opening weekend.
Technically, yeah.
Empty.
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 Barren.
We were allowed to talk however loud we wanted.
Yes, we were.
I reminded Dave.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Because
Dave
I
did
turned into
start
a whisper
whispering.
because I
And I was
like,
like, Dave, we're the only ones in here.
I was like, no, someone walked in while I wasn't looking.
It's true.
Oh.
But yeah. Sorry. Continue with
No,
what you were gonna say.
no, my relation to this movie. Obviously, I've gone at length of how big a fan I am of the Brendan Fraser mummies. So
Right.
obviously, I feel like going into this one, I was trying not to be super biased. I wanted
Sure.
to have a very open mind because I was very aware that this is a very different thing.
Right. Lee Cronin's.
Yeah, this is Lee Cronin's version, a man who did not want to make a mummy movie, but was convinced to do one.
Yep.
I will say I really, really enjoy the horror elements of this, but I don't know how I feel about it as a mummy movie specifically.
And that's
Thesis.
tough because that's
Thesis at the
what it
bottom,
is.
right?
That's what
here.
it is. It is the Blumhouse attempt at the Mummy because they've done the Wolfman and they've done the Invisible Man.
sure.
Have they done any other ones?
Nope, just those.
Just those three.
Just those three.
I know we got some Frankenstein movies, but those are separate things.
Yeah.
Um,
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yes.
Who is actually the monster, not the doctor? I don't know if you guys knew that.
Wait.
Whoa! Are you?
But
wait,
what if
Wait.
Frankenstein was really the monster?
What
all
if the
along?
real mummy was the real mummy was Lee Cronin
Wait.
all along?
That reminds me. Have you guys seen the text post? This is relevant, I promise, because it does lead to, I think, later this
We
year.
were talking about cheese earlier. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
We've already like 360'd off the rails on this one.
Yeah.
So.
Someone did a text post and it was like the foreword for the Dune book, like the newer publications, is like, this book is about the dangers of heroism. Have you seen that at all?
No.
And someone commented and was like, it's crazy that like you have to put that in a book to point out like, here is the purpose of this book.
Yeah.
And someone then pointed out and was like, but also we've learned that there's so many people in the world who will miss that because of the other two movies that have come out, and people are like, yeah, Paul. And it's like, no. This is about the dangers of the power of heroism in Paul.
It's why Frank Herbert wrote Messiah, right? He wrote Dune, and everyone was like, "Go, Paul Atreides,"
And
he
he's
was
like,
wait,
wait.
whoa.
Wait a second.
I may have miscalculated.
Yeah, but it kind of reminded me of that.
That's
the way you
fair.
said
That's
that forward.
really
Like,
funny. But yeah, so I watched this movie. I like it for the most part. But I don't know, since again, this is a mummy movie, I think that the core element, I don't know that the approach to this necessarily works. But that, yeah, I guess I'll stop there.
Fair.
Don't
I
wanna
mean,
ramble too much on it, but
I share similar sympathies. We generally, when we record new movies, we tend to see the movie and then immediately record the episode.
yeah.
This time we had a couple days to think about it, which I'm kind of glad.
Time
to
marinate, time to digest.
It's true. Much like food, what
Yes.
this podcast is also
Much like
about.
a cheese cube or a beef stick.
Thank you for saying that. I had seen Evil Dead Rise,
Yes.
and I saw that in theaters. Loved it. I thought it was very fun, and I haven't seen Lee Cronin's previous. He's directed 3 feature films.
Okay. This is number 3, right?
This is number
Okay.
3. Number 3.
Number 3, my lord.
And
I do the Fassbender 3, and then
fair. I thought about going back and watching his first movie before this. We just didn't have time. But when I heard, I was like, Evil Dead Rise, that's awesome. I love this movie. I think it's so
Yeah.
much fun. It's so nasty. And when it was announced that he was writing and directing a new Mummy in the vein of like Invisible Man, Wolfman, we're
Yeah.
stripping it back, doing a new thing. I was like,
doing an original take.
that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
so different. Like Evil Dead Rise is like, so obviously different from the previous Mummy movies we've gotten before.
Yeah.
So if it's anything in the vein of that, that's interesting and exciting that we're trying something new.
Yeah.
So I
because
was-
yeah, you turned down Evil Dead Burn to do this one, right?
I think so.
I think that's what I heard. I could
don't
be
know.
wrong. All right, don't hold me to that one. But
We are getting
is Burn the new one?
yeah.
yes.
And then we get Evil Dead Wrath, which is next year.
Yeah.
No.
Also, that trailer for Evil Dead Burn looks great. I'm very excited.
Dish, I will be, not to spoil anything, I expect a pitch of the Evil Dead movies for season 3. they're my favorite.
We will be doing it. The
Like-
Patreon will be taken over. We'll do the
We'll
show. We'll do
see.
the movies.
I'm not
I
saying
can't wait to see who the guest will be for that.
It'll be Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
God,
someone
I'd
else in
fucking cry.
general.
Do you think he'd do it? Do you think we can get him on here?
Campbell. He's got
Rally. See if we can
He's
get
got
him.
some
Someone know him?
personal things going on. I don't
Oh,
know if
that's
he
true.
unfortunately is able to, but
We all have personal
Um,
things going on.
he has cancer.
You don't have to whisper. There's no one else in the theater, Matt.
We just might want to cut this part of the episode.
Damn it, Matt. I said there's a tight turnaround.
I know.
I didn't want to cut anything.
We don't have to cut it. I will say I didn't know. And prayers out to him.
I hope
Yeah.
he's amazing. I love Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell. But anyways, moving forward with the episode, trying to move forward with the episode. I was very excited for this movie.
Yes.
I was like, it wasn't like it was one of my most anticipated of the year, but I was like, I liked Evil Dead Rise. I think I like The Mummy. Let's do this. I was excited. Generally, yeah, I think this movie's like fine. I think
Yeah.
on the whole, like, cumulative of all its elements. I like some of the horror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like I can appreciate the approach to do something different.
Yeah.
You kind of talked a little bit you kind of touched on it for a second. I'm assuming you watched some Lee Cronin interviews as well.
I did some reading. I didn't get to catch any interviews. I should have, but I didn't.
I watched a couple interviews with Cronin on this, and yeah, James Wan and Jason Blum had kind of brought the idea of doing The Mummy to him. He was not particularly interested in doing The Mummy as we know of The Mummy.
Yeah.
The
Which,
one that we love?
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I think also to that, like, it's like the Tom Cruise Mummy is kind of trying to do the Fraser Mummy.
It's trying to bring that
it
version
doesn't
It
to
has
the modern,
two
and it's
feet in separate spaces, yeah.
Yeah,
And so
I
I-
appreciate this big swing in a
Yeah.
very different direction.
So
but-
Cronin was like, I don't know, give me the weekend, let me think on it. And his in a couple most of the interviews that I had watched of him, he kept bringing up what really got him interested is, when we look at what mummification is, it's preserving, emperor or like
Yeah.
high status people in history. And what got him going was the idea of mummification for a different purpose. Why would you try to hold and preserve someone and contain them within one
Yeah.
thing? And that is what got him into, not to spoil too much about this movie, but like demonology and like stuff
Yeah.
like that, elements of that he wanted to kick around for this movie. He brought it to James Wan and Jason Blum. They really liked that it was something different. And he went from there. I can appreciate that idea a lot.
I do too.
I think that is not a bad concept. We talked about this a little bit outside of the theater. My opinion still kind of stands with it. I like that idea of mummification for a different purpose. My problems with this movie is that in the characterization of the mummy, this movie becomes The Exorcist. I don't
Yeah.
really care that he's changing the lore of the mummy. All that
yeah.
didn't really bother me. It's just that when things start happening, this just becomes a movie I have seen 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's very referential to a bunch of other movies, and I found myself thinking about those movies more than I was actually watching.
It's the danger of doing that.
Yeah, I think part of what I think a lot of people are bumping up against this, even though this was very intentional and was very forward about trying to be its own thing. By being called The Mummy, it is bringing that baggage into the space, and I don't know that it's living up to that expectation.
I don't know if I want to put that on the movie though. Is my only
I know
thing.
that's the
It's
thing,
like
but
just
I'm
'cause
like, what are like, because like you think like I know it's like has about the most in common with like it's like source, because I mean, there isn't source material for The Mummy. Like that
Sure.
original movie was quite literally they were like, oh, we actually popped the pyramids open and now everyone's got mummy like Egypt fever. Let's, Frankenstein did really cool. Let's get Boris Karloff and do another one,
Yeah.
but we'll make him a mummy. And so like there is no book that this is based. There's not a poem or anything. This is just based on the concept of Egypt having mummified pharaohs.
Yeah.
That's it. So there's not like a lot you could point to. Like with Invisible Man, there is a book you can point to, and there's themes that you can point to, and that movie, while very different, is at least like in conversation with that. And I think that's part of what makes this such a challenging adaptation.
I think with what you're talking about of the kind of audience expectation with that is, I think I would not that I don't understand that, right? But I don't know if I land in that because I feel like the movie in the lead up at no point is trying to market it. It's not trying to maintain that expectation
I
that
know,
the
yeah.
audience has. It's very clearly like he got a
Live a
fire
little
truck.
close to a fire station.
All right.
No cuts.
No cuts.
No cuts.
But the
As Miyazaki said, no cuts.
no cuts.
I'm not telling that
I
story.
think that
a
full
good
quote
story.
is no cuts, no butts, no coconuts.
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
That's
yeah.
what he said.
As Aristotle said, correct? But
I believe it was Plato, but yes.
Aristotle.
oh, fair. Thank you.
Michael Scott.
Forgive my ignorance. But
It was Ardith Bay.
fuck yeah. But no, but the all the lead up to this movie is like, you know, the tagline is like, "What happened to Katie?"
Yes.
Like all like
Which I bumped up against that because it was very like, what happened to the school? Because they were doing from the people who brought you weapons in
Yeah.
the trailers and stuff. And
what
so I
happened
feel like
to
they were trying to.
217 or whatever.
They
it
were
was.
also trying to capitalize on the weapons marketing.
Fair.
A little bit.
But yeah, like to the thing of like, if the movie was like trying to present itself as one thing, and then we sat down and we watched the movie that we watched, I would be like, oh, you're just trying to play in the expectations of the Mummy. But they were very clear. It's why they
Yeah.
call it Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yeah.
Was they wanted to like establish.
They wanted to blame a very clear person
Yeah,
for
it's his fault.
They were
If
like-
you have a problem with it,
I
But they wanted to be like, this
yeah.
is different. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went into the theater being like, all right, like I'm going to watch a different Mummy. I already have the Fraser
Yeah.
Mummy. I don't need this to match that expectation because when they try to do that, we get the Tom Cruise Mummy and it fucking sucks.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very interesting. I feel like they go maybe too far the other direction is I guess what I'm saying. Cause like, I just like at its core, what we have is it feels more like a possession movie than a mummy movie ultimately, even though it's got like the Egypt stuff. I feel like you could strip a lot of that out very quickly and replace it with any demonology, mythology. It could just be a cult. Like, you know, like I feel like it's very easy to get rid of the mummy stuff in this. Whereas like
Sure.
with the Brendan Fraser stuff, it's like very hard to get out of that. Even with the Tom Cruise one, it's a little bit harder to pull the like lore out and like replace it. Like, I guess.
I mean, that one.
But also I will say this I think is better than the Tom Cruise Mummy. I will say
100%. Yeah.
I
think
don't
this is
want to
better.
say I don't want to be like I'm a hater on this movie because
No.
I did enjoy this movie, but I don't feel like it like even with the idea of like I want to see a monster movie about a mummy, and I don't think that part of my brain is satisfied with this
Fair.
one.
Well, kind of.
because it is like it feels more like possession than like reincarnation, I guess.
I also think some of the maybe issues with this movie is, the tagline, "What happened to Katie?" and stuff like that. Like, there are some things that happen in the movie in terms of like the "what happened to Katie" question that I'm like, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I didn't expect that necessarily. But generally, when I'm watching the movie, like the movie takes its time in doling out the mystery, and I'm not against it doing that. But I have a pretty good idea of what
It's
happened.
not hard
this
to
little
figure
girl.
out what
Yeah.
happened,
Right,
like
yeah.
you're kind of watching the movie going like I think they
Like,
put the mummy in her.
You bring up weapons, and it's like weapons does I think, a amazing job, like
Yeah.
having this really strange
it's
question.
it's a good mystery, and in
Yeah.
this movie, I think the mystery is, but by the 30-minute mark, I think
you're
you
like,
can
yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I
figure,
thought.
you can kind of guess what it
Yeah.
is, even if you don't know the specifics.
well, because it's also different from the other mummies, which I think both of them start with, "Here's what happened thousands of years ago,
Yeah.
and
Why
this
this
is
person
why
was
this evil
mummified."
exists." Where this one
Yeah.
doesn't. Like,
No, it doesn't.
doesn't
That's
have that.
part of like the mystery, I guess, is what is the like thing? Because there's always like a cult, that's like protecting or like trying to contain evil is like I think at the core of these movies.
you said cult, and I was like, there was a cult in the Tom Cruise one. I was like, oh,
yeah,
Yeah, with
it's
Dr.
like,
Jekyll
It's
and
like a
Mr. Hyde.
cult
Yeah,
or a secret
Prodigium.
society. Yeah, there's Prodigium
yeah.
in the Tom Cruise one, and then there's the
I don't remember their name. Oh, Ardith Bay.
but Ardith Bay in that one.
The
But like also,
Protectors.
if you go back to the original Mummy movie with Boris Karloff, Ardith Bay is like his alter ego. The because he's Emotep.
Rad.
And when he's like running around not being a mummy, he's like, I'm Ardith Bay now. It's kind of a importance of being earnest kind of thing. Jack in the Countryside.
Nice.
But for those literary references out there,
I don't want to get too much into
Yeah.
the spoilers parts of that just right now. But like,
yeah.
in terms of non-spoiler stuff, yeah, I think the mystery of it, the movie really wants to draw you in with the mystery, and I think the filmmaking on display in doing that is good. Like, I think Lee
Yeah.
Cronin is a skilled,
He's a very
technical
skilled director, I will say.
filmmaker, but I do think the narrative of driving it out is a little obvious, and it also doesn't help that this movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Yeah, I do think the length also works against it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm never bored. I think the sequences are all like well paced and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But in terms of the like leaning in, you are kind of like I'm more, if anything, when the movie's happening, you're more like waiting for the cat to finally come out of the bag
Yeah.
than being intrigued in the details that you're picking up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I also feel like there's not enough like twists for a mystery movie in this one. Like I kind of have like an idea of what's going on, and then by the end they're like, yeah, that was what was happening, and you're like, okay.
Fair. I mean, performance wise, I think everybody's pretty good, you know, for the most part.
I think the kids are better
the
than the
kids
parents.
are good. Lee Cronin
which
has
I think is one of my issues. Is I think the individually the parents are good. I feel like they don't have great chemistry. Jack Rayner and I don't know her name. But the mom and dad, I feel like it's uneven for me personally.
Those characters are all just also kind of a little. I think they're
blah.
They're not as layered as I think the movie wants them to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are points of the characters where they're like trying to introduce stuff. The mom, I think, has kind of almost more going on in terms of what is related to the plot of the movie of like, you know, like Katie leaves and she comes back and she's very different, for lack of a better word. And the mom like is so happy to have her daughter back that she's like, you know, just trying to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of this. And like, I like that aspect of it. And I think that's interesting. And then Jack Rayner's character, and Jack Rayner's an actor that I think can be pretty good. He's great in Sing Street.
Yeah, he's I love Sing Street 1.
But
go watch Sing Street. That movie rules.
But yeah, he's kind of stuck just kind of like uncovering everything. So his character kind of gets lost.
He's kind of doing Mark Wahlberg in The Happening a lot in this one, or he's just kind of.
No, I haven't seen The Happening.
He's just all big eyes in this movie. I feel.
He's got some good glasses.
He does. I do like his glasses.
The kids are great. The kids are
great.
Really
I
good.
think their performances are more consistent. For me personally. But
that's fair.
Dish, what's your relationship to
this? Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's have
before
you
we
unpack
get too
this.
deep, and before we get into spoiler territory.
My relationship is that my wife asked me, I think every single day leading up to going to see this movie, are you sure you want to go see it? I know I shared a little bit in the previous episodes, but you know, I actually enjoy The Mummy. Grew up with Brendan Fraser, love it. It's a fun one. I don't think they're super scary, but there is some nightmare fuel for a little kid in them. I am not a scary movie person whatsoever, so I was also like, hey, maybe I shouldn't go see this movie. But I was like, you know what? It's for the podcast. I'm going to rally. I'm going to do it. I'll be fine. I'm an adult. And that was my relationship up until being in the theater and having the experience that I did, which maybe we'll share when we get into the movie itself, because I have some notes, but not much relationship, I would say.
Okay, cool.
This is also kind of a rough one, I think, to be your first foray.
Yeah, this is because this movie's particularly nasty
It's
to
a little
its
nasty,
characters.
yeah.
Which you know, if you like horror, then this is a good time.
Yeah.
Do you recommend people go see this movie?
No.
I don't know. I think this is one of those where I'm like, I think it's up to you. I think if you had a light wanting to see it, I think it's worth a look. Like there's some fun stuff in it. I'm not sitting there like banging my head against the wall.
No.
So I'm like, you know, if you got time, like go see it, but like I don't think you need to. If I like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna watch, I mean, I haven't again seen his first film, but it's like, if you want to watch a Lee Cronin movie, I'd rather say I'd recommend Evil Dead
I
Rise
would
over
also
this one.
probably recommend Rise over this one. But,
Or if you wanna watch-
but if you like horror, I'd probably recommend it because
Yeah, if you're a horror fan, check it out.
Are really well constructed. But
If you're not, don't.
Yes.
yeah, if you don't like horror movies, skip
This
it.
is not for you because this is
But
a horror movie.
Yeah, it definitely revels in its nastiness at times. And I think that it's all like, I think the makeup that is on display is like really pretty strong.
yeah,
I think a lot of the like pacing of the sequences are good. I think the score is pretty fun. It's
Mhm.
not amazing, but I think the theme is like like it's a pretty decent theme. It's fine.
I remember it was
It's more
it was,
ambiance
yeah, it
than
was more
anything.
ambiance. I remember the sound of it was good, but I couldn't like hum it for you right now. So.
I was humming it for like the next day.
Do you want to do a couple notes or?
I think it's like like kind of a
It's just
thing.
like.
Yeah, it's like kind of, it's a little vague, but it's
I'm
not
a
in like a-
mummy.
it is. It actually, the music is, oh my god, a mummy. But
Mummy.
yeah, it's like I suppose I would
Didgeridoo.
recommend this. What did you say?
I said didgeridoo.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well.
I think we
We need Australian mummies. That's what we need.
Australian mummies is interesting.
Aboriginal mummies.
Aboriginal, yeah. I would recommend it, I suppose, but it's not like, I'm not jumping back to the theater for this.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
All right. Cool. Do you want to jump into spoilers then?
Yeah, we can talk
Is it a
about
good
some
time?
spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Okay. If
Um,
I had a nickel for every time the leading guy got the powers of the mummy at the end of this movie, I would have 2 nickels.
It's true. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
it's weird
but
it happened twice.
It was very weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, just to get it out of the way. I mean, I touched on it, non-spoilers. Like, yeah, my problem is not in the change of lore for why they're mummifying this
No,
person.
I welcome
My
new lore.
problem is that when the demon is unveiled, it just becomes The Exorcist.
This movie's mostly The Exorcist. Like I think where I bump up against this movie truly is that I actually wish this was what Exorcist Believer was.
Sure.
And because I think I would have been like, no, like 5 stars. Like,
But I also feel like if it was
maybe
just
not
The
5 stars,
Exorcist,
but yeah.
people would be like, it's just The Exorcist. You know what I mean?
exactly. It's not exactly a big swing. I know one of the things I saw is Lee Cronin's 2 biggest inspirations was Seven and Poltergeist. But
Right.
I'm like surprised Exorcist, or maybe that was on the list and they were like, you can't say that out loud. You can't say that.
It's, like,
Which I have not seen Poltergeist, but I know it's like a haunted house situation.
because the whole deal with this mummy is that it's an ancient Egyptian demon
Yes.
that in order for them to contain,
Mm-hmm.
they have to pass the demon from one body to another host body.
Yeah, they're
kind of
essentially it's
over
a
and over
living
again.
it's a biological prison
Yeah.
for the demon,
Which is a cool idea.
which is very cool, which I really liked.
But I think when the demon comes out, it's and people talked about this too. It's like a Deadite and Evil Dead. It's like,
Yep.
I'm gonna, fuck you around, you little fucker. Like it's just
it's very Reagan
really-
in The Exorcist. It's very Evil Dead.
yeah,
It's just like it ends
swallow
up-
your soul kind of a deal.
Yeah, the DNA just ends up being that of like other demon movies, which is fine. But it's like that's where I'm like, this doesn't feel like a mummy movie.
If there was
even
a
with the like
different characterization
the lore
of the
that they've
demon,
added. Yeah.
I think this movie works a lot better for me. I think if it's, and not even like, if it's like Katie and she is more like, I don't want to say like oral farming, but like, if she's like fucking like, if she's more stoic, if she's
Yeah.
more like blunt in her executions of people as
Yeah.
opposed to reveling in it, I think
yeah,
people would be like, oh yeah, like there's more, there's power in it instead of
Mhm.
like trickery, which I think is kind of how
yeah.
the demons in like Exorcist and Evil Dead kind of work.
Yeah, I also feel like the whole idea of like what makes a mummy different from just any person who's died and been buried is the like the status and the mummification process, which I know we have that, but I think by making it not like a high priest or a princess or a king or whatever, I think you lose a lot of like the mummy
mummy part.
The mummy part. Like I think that's kind of for me the like core detail. Like it's kind of like having Batman not wear a Batman suit a little bit.
So,
But like, yeah, I'm kind of cool with like, okay, the kids are getting possessed, but I'm also like, reincarnation, I think, is also a big element that they're missing out on that I kind of wish was part of this.
I have a question, and I will announce now and get rid of my mystery.
You're gonna tell us what happened to Katie?
What happened
No.
to Dish?
I walked out of
What
the
happened to
theater.
Michael Dish?
I walked out of the theater.
Yeah,
I think about halfway through.
about halfway through. Yeah,
I think it was an hour
before the really spooky stuff happened. You left about 5 minutes before some really fucked up shit happened.
Yeah, so I don't like horror. I'm not a fan. I was feeling like, hey, I'm gonna rally. It's the Mummy. Let's see what happens. I personally draw the line at demons, and I think it
enough.
was at an hour where they identified it.
Yeah,
And they were like, demonology, and this is the thing. And I was like, all right, I can't do one more night in the house. I'm done.
yeah, yeah.
And then I walked to Target at the mall that we were at, and I constantly was looking over my shoulder, and I was like, what was that noise?
Yeah.
So that's where I drew. And I got to say that because I have to ask this question. Did they ever like identify the motivation of the demon?
No, I
It's
actually
just
don't
a
even think the
demon.
demon has a name,
It
which is also.
has a name.
It had
Does
a
it?
group
Yeah.
name.
I think
remember
it's
that.
like written down, but I don't think they like.
No,
I
they
think,
say it out loud a couple
Do
times.
they?
Okay.
It's like
Bar-
it starts with a D.
Okay,
It's like
yeah, I
Demorium
just-
or something.
Yeah,
like
but that's
that.
the thing. I can't remember what that is.
It was
know?
a
And I
group of
think that
demons, from what I remembered. Like it
They
was like
call these demons
these.
Okay.
This thing.
whatever.
Yeah, see, that was confusing to me. I think.
Yeah.
and I think another like part where I don't think the movie is very successful.
But
yeah.
that's my thing. It was like I feel like in the other Mummy movies, right? It's a priest, it's a pharaoh,
Yeah,
it's someone of status that has a goal to be like, I'm going to take over the world, and I need to kill this person. I need to sacrifice this thing. I need to open this book, whatever.
Yeah,
Like
it's like also
there's a
I'm
goal.
being mummified because I'm being punished like by the gods almost,
yes.
like Anubis or Horus or whatever. Like, but like they make a decision to go a little later in Egypt lore.
They
Because
say it's like 3,000 years old.
Well, so it's like but this is like post hieroglyphics because like the whole thing is like
No,
they're-
pre.
really.
Yeah, he says
Because
it's
they were saying the whole thing
pre-hieroglyphic.
about the language was that it was the first time they were doing cursive. So I thought in my I don't know I don't make any claims of being an Egyptologist.
Why not?
Because I'm a cinephile, not an Egyptologist.
No, because
Um,
Jack Rayner he goes to a professor.
Okay, so they're
to
going
try to
even
get in.
more ancient.
Yeah, he's like, this is way
Okay.
beyond like ancient Egypt. This is
Okay.
ancient
That's what
ancient
I
Egypt.
remember too.
Okay, I didn't clock that. I think I was just really distracted by the like, oh, this is when they first started doing cursive written language. And in my head, like if you're doing pictures, like that would be first, I guess. But I don't know enough about Egypt.
No, I mean neither do I.
Egyptian history,
But
archaeology.
But yeah, they go in and it's this like basically this like force that's existed for
Yeah.
for forever,
Okay.
essentially, and they have to keep it within the body because if it breaks outside of its mummification and it stays with the host, it will, as it does a couple times, cause a big sandstorm. It'll like
Yeah.
destroy the world.
Yeah. But
I,
apparently it can also fuck up shit even though it's completely covered head to toe.
wait, what point?
Well, because it I'm assuming crashes the plane that they're transporting because they were like one of the details that's like part of the mystery is that they're
That's how they get
the
Katie again.
Yeah, this is how they
The
find out
plane
that Katie is because
crashes.
the plane
They find
crashes.
the tomb.
I assumed because of we don't see how the plane crashes. It kind of happens like we see the plane crash, but we don't see why it crashes. I just assumed that the demon was fucking up shit and like caused an
I
accident.
really
so that it
wanted
could
a
get free.
silent plane crash again.
I wanted a
so
little.
bad. As soon as I saw the plane way out there in the shot,
Yeah.
I was like, "Please give us what's inside the cockpit right now, and just have it be like
Yeah, the broken audio of
with Tom
the Barbie
Cruise." Yeah,
trailer. Yeah.
that's Dune, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, I took
I'm
it
in the sand,
honestly.
like-
Hell yeah. I took it honestly as just kind of an accident. Like
Okay, yeah.
because I
I took it as mummy.
I mean, the movie doesn't
the
say
music to me
what
said
it
it was
is.
the mummy was leaking out and trying to escape. Because even like, I mean, they
Well, because it happens off screen. It's the kid, and you just watch it
yeah
silently
yeah
fall.
something about the way the sarcophagus like fell and became the obelisk in 2001, which I thought was very cool.
It's he did say that is a reference to
It
2001.
felt very like the mummy's starting to get out a little bit to me. That was my interpretation of it, but
That's fair.
But
I mean,
to be fair,
it
we don't
doesn't-
actually see it.
It doesn't
Um,
say. The movie doesn't tell you.
But
So
I
it's
also
up
feel
to
like the
whatever you
mummy's
want.
powers in this are kind of it's a weird grab bag of stuff.
They're whatever it wants it to be.
Yes, which I think not having the clarity on that is. I mean, I think rich coming for me saying that because Emotep's just like I can do this, I can absorb
Yeah.
people. I'm a sandstorm now.
I saw it as like,
But
it
they
can
also kind of
just,
set up
like-
that he's been given the powers of like hell to come back and be a plague. So it's
because
like,
it doesn't really do anything outside of just like lifting shit.
it
Does
lifts shits, but it's also like possessing the other kids. Like it sort of is like it's
I took that because if it can move, it can move objects, and then it also has like mental, like it can fuck with your brain. Like
yeah,
it-
that's true. Which I guess is kind of in pocket,
Telepathy,
but,
I suppose.
But it's also controlling the coyotes too.
no, I think that, or maybe it is controlling. My thought was
That
that
seemed to be sort of referential to the whole like plague aspect that tends to come with the mummy baggage. But I
yeah.
don't know that like
I also originally there's a moment for people who haven't watched the movie, like there's a moment where they're leaving the house and the gate to the house opens and there's like 6 different coyotes that are all growling.
yeah.
My initial read of that when it first shows up was I was like, oh, because it's an ancient evil. Like it's like, you know how like animals can hear an earthquake before it happens, like all that stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
like that. Like it's disturbing nature. But then the grandmother is killed and the coyotes come out and they tear her stomach open.
Yeah, which made me feel like they were like
I assume
sort of being influenced a
that
little bit,
part
but,
feels like, yeah, the mummy is
Yeah.
is creating that part.
yeah.
But in terms of I thought that there are moments in the movie where like the coyote bit where the gate opens and the coyotes are all growling and they're not
Yeah.
moving. I'm like, oh, that's a cool moment. And then
Yeah.
maybe my favorite moment of the movie is to give some background on the characters. Katie in the beginning, before she disappears, they establish that she's learning Universal Morse code,
Ooh.
and that
That
she's
part.
like
As
studying
opposed to
for it.
Warner Brothers Morse code.
Exactly, which
Yeah.
is it just translates into the amount of money they're doing so that they can
Yes.
fuck up the industry and
It goes, how
sell
many
to
tax
Paramount.
credits can I get?
But they kind of establish that she knows Morse code. She disappears. When she comes back, mummy shit happens, evil weird shit happens, and
Yeah.
Katie, Jack Rayner's sitting there, and Katie's like smacking her teeth,
Yeah.
and we come to realize that she's doing Morse code as Katie.
Yeah, that she's kind
trying
of
to
trapped
speak
in
to
there.
him, which I thought was a really cool
I thought that was
reveal.
really cool. I feel like they didn't go far enough with that. I feel like there needed to be more of like trying to reach through to Katie to try and like slow the demon down. I don't know how that
I-
works functionally,
my-
but
My assumption with it, like kind of sitting with it, it's like the movie just wants to let you know that Katie's still in there. That it's not about him
Okay.
trying to communicate with Katie necessarily, even though it does make sense from, to your point,
yeah,
a character perspective. If you realize that you can talk to Katie, you would want to try to do it again.
yeah,
But initially, I think informationally, like the movie is just trying to let you know Katie is in there. She's
Mhm.
not like it's not like she's gone. She's
Yeah.
trapped. I thought that was a fun reveal. That, and then also to talk about kind of the nastier shit that happens with this movie, like the toenail bit.
toenail bit. Fucking wow.
Yeah, she's been gone for 8 years. Her hair, her toenails have all grown out. Her mom is trying to give her a pedicure,
Yeah.
and is cutting the toenails, and then her big toe. I remember. I think I turned to you. I was like, "Oh, one of those toenails are coming off."
Oh yeah.
Like I thought they was gonna pop off, and we were gonna like the fly or whatever.
Yeah.
But no. Instead, it rips up the skin from her finger, from her toe,
All the way, to, like,
up to her knee, which is an
like,
incredible piece
like
of makeup.
shedding an onion. It was like
It's
you're like,
so
"Ugh."
the sound of it's so good. The like how abrupt it is so great.
Mhm.
And then we reveal that if you peel her skin back, that ancient text is
Is-
underneath her skin.
Okay, so
Which I thought was a cool.
yeah, I thought
pretty
that was
fucking
cool, but I don't know if I understand how that works. So, are we to understand that the cult behind this skinned Katie and then put the markings inside her flesh, or
No, I think it's
The-
just
the
a
wraps have
product
just-
of the demon.
I think it's just more evil things magic
Yeah.
going on versus them doing
Okay, I
anything.
don't know that makes sense to me, but all right.
Because she also like peels off half of her skin. It's one of those things where it's like it's magic.
I'm okay with the skin peeling, but I'm just like because my understanding
thing to say out of context.
No, but like my understanding of the like all the writing and stuff is those are like the enchantments that sort of like keep the demon like locked in, and so to me, I'm like if the text is under her skin. Like if the demon can't be putting that text itself unless it's like a counter spell.
I mean,
guess.
it could
You know,
be well because
I guess I'm just not clear on like how this like mechanic works. But I'm all for like the the writing on the skin and like that's like the bandages and stuff like that. I thought that was because visually it's very cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it. I guess.
I
think you have to give this movie a lot of rope.
I think it's just the movie just doesn't. Yeah, it clearly is like it's magic. Don't
This
worry
is sort of
about
like a nano situation. I don't know if I.
Like to your thing of like I don't think it's the mummy that's doing the text. My assumption is because the ritual that we see at the end,
Yeah.
right? They show the video of Katie getting the demon put in her from the kind of decomposed host, and the Layla I think is the character's name, or is that the daughter's name?
Layla is the.
It's this friend that has been essentially grooming Katie. Yeah, Layla is the daughter.
Layla was okay. That was also confusing because based on like the letter they find with it, I thought it was like the mom taunting them almost.
No, I think because
like genuinely apologizing.
No, I think it's the daughter because the daughter is like I tried to tell the truth. They cut my tongue out.
Oh,
so I do think
okay.
she's sending it as a.
Okay,
I'm
I
sorry.
get that now.
Oh yes.
Oh
so
yeah,
the
you
daughter.
didn't get to this
What?
part.
The daughter shows
yeah.
back up because the mom is killed, or for
yes,
you think is killed. She's shot.
There's a very Seven-esque sequence where our detective, who's played by
May Kalamaui
from Moon Knight, right?
Yes, Kalamaui. I think is her
Kalamaui?
name.
Okay.
She's from Moon Knight. She's great. I love her. She's my choice for Wonder Woman personally.
Ooh, nice.
But
I can see it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I think she'd be great.
But yeah, because after they get the Morse code, Layla, they are able to figure out that there's a letter. Because there was like an
I saw
influx
that.
of like
She finds
sympathy
it
and
they
stuff.
Get the
and-
last name.
Yeah, they get the last name, and then she goes to the house in somewhere in Egypt, Cairo, probably, or something like that.
I think they say the name of the place, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's they go to the
Egypt.
location where they live and where all the occult
Not the
stuff
farm.
is up.
Yeah.
Is it at
in the beginning of the movie?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they
The place
go to
that
the
they go to
farm.
in the beginning of the movie where they were originally housing the mummy. They go back there and there's like a sort of like John Doe-esque sequence of like come out here, put your hands up, kind of thing. Which I thought was very cool. It was very
That
it's a cool
sequence is
sequence.
good.
There's a what's in the box kind of moment, but it's like a lunchbox.
Yeah, it's a little tape. But so so the mom is shot, and then Layla runs out, and then May Kalamaui, her character, chases her and like gets her, brings her to an interrogation room, and is like, "Why won't you speak to me?" And Layla opens her mouth and shows that her tongue has been cut off.
Yeah.
That she tried to say the truth, and they cut it off. So
Okay.
I think that letter is actually Layla being like, "I am very sorry what
Okay.
happened."
That makes more sense to me now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments in this movie that I think it's intentionally trying to like drag out the mystery, but I ended
Sure.
up finding myself like scratching my head a lot, being like, wait, what? And then just like getting like distracted when they're actually telling me what's going on.
Is there any reason it's that family or that daughter?
They seem to be part of like a legacy that's been
Or,
keeping
Yeah.
the demon at bay.
Not them.
Oh, why is it like Jack Rayner and his
Yeah.
family?
No, I think they
It
just
doesn't
picked a
seem to
kid.
be
Unlucky?
one of the. It seems to be
Unlucky.
largely unlucky, and the big thing is that the best like you can use any living host, but an innocent.
A kid is best.
Yeah, a kid is best. Like
They
someone,
say it in
an
the tape.
innocent, like a pure soul, essentially, is like most effective for containing it. I guess.
I also assume just like on a tangible stance, a younger person probably can hold the demon for longer than an
Yeah.
older
It
person.
It is. You
would.
probably don't have to do the rituals
As
as
much.
long because you have a presumably that person's lifespan to contain the demon.
But to the thing about the writing, to say all this, like when they show the ritual,
Yeah.
the mother is speaking, a spell to,
Yeah.
or for lack of a better word, a spell to put the demon into Katie.
Yeah.
And they do it a couple times. My assumption is that is that spell, and the idea is that the magic is like that's what's
Oh, the
bonding
text,
her.
like,
Yeah,
is
the
it?
text is
Okay.
underneath her,
Okay.
bonding the demon.
Interesting.
Which
Interesting.
obviously that's my read. And if it is that, and maybe I'm just saying it because it is what I took from it. I think that's a cool idea.
I think that's a cool idea too. I think, yeah, I feel like there's times when this movie's not super clear on what's happening and it's distracting. But like I said, I mean, the horror's still pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of the design, I think like the mummy's tomb or coffin or whatever, I think is pretty cool in its design. It's very simple, but
it's very
cool.
simple, but I agree. I think it's very cool. I think when they first open the sarcophagus and you see Katie mummified, I think that looks awesome.
That all looks really great.
I wish they had the wraps for more. I think my
Sure.
criteria for I want to see the like wraps.
You want them wrapped.
I want the wraps.
That's fair.
It's like I was trying to think. I didn't get a chance to watch Lee Winnell's Wolfman because I wanted to see more. I've seen the design, and I don't think the design's very good. But like, I was like, what are like the core ingredients of like a mummy? Like I know like the Brendan Fraser movie kind of has like the reins on being the idea that we all have.
Yeah.
But that's
holding a monopoly on
that's
that.
the third remake of that version of Emotep and stuff. So that like is also like going back to it. So I was like trying to think like what are my like core ingredients that I need to be satisfied? And I think like the like I don't know the Egyptian lore of it ends up being so vague that like that's part of why I'm bumping up.
I think
this, you know?
my thing with it too.
It's just more demon cult and possession than reincarnation high priest.
I think the Exorcist vibe is so in your face.
Yes.
That anything else which is in the movie, you're not reckoning with at the same time because it's an explanation as to what's going on. But then again, this is my big problem with the movie is the characterization of the monster is a characterization that I have seen 100,000 times before.
Yeah.
And if you're not offering something unique in like the monster, like outside, it's like a scary little girl. And it's like everyone agrees like children being scary is freaky.
Yes.
But like also like we all know that.
Yeah, we've
like,
seen that a
what
lot.
are you gonna do that's gonna add to that? And I don't think this movie is additive to the idea of possession.
No, I don't think it is. And I think that's part of where I'm like kind of bummed that it's a possession movie because like I appreciate the swing, but that's like I think reincarnation is like I think a core ingredient. I think that's where I was trying to lead with this is that I feel like that over possession makes more for more mummy. Like because like in the Invisible Man movie, it's like you have a guy who's misusing his intelligence to create an invisible. I mean, like in the original thing, it's like a potion, but like in that one, it's like we're doing the technology suit. But I'm like, okay, there's like an abuse of power there, though. That
what if
like,
a scum fuck? Could
yeah,
be invisible?
yeah. What if he had that power? How would he misuse it? And I'm like, okay, at least like we have like sort of thematic core elements for that and stuff. And again, there's no literary lore to go to other than actual Egypt history. But I feel like they go back so far to ancient Egypt to where they can just make up their own stuff. And I think that's kind of a bummer.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't.
But I don't know. I don't
how
know
much of
enough.
it's
But it
made
feels
up.
like they kind of keep it vague enough so they can do. Again, it feels like Lee Cronin didn't want to make a mummy movie. It feels like he wanted to make an Exorcist movie.
Yeah, which
To
again,
that point, I mean, I know he said Poltergeist, which I haven't seen, but like, I'm like, I don't know.
again, I have no because like a guy wanting to make like Tony Gilroy is very upfront of being like, yeah, like Star Wars isn't like my fucking favorite thing in the world. Like I'm not interested in lightsabers, and it's like. I think that's good. Like I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But he is tackling things that are current. He's offering new ideas. He's iterating and evolving things that have kind of already existed in Star Wars.
And he's playing in that sandbox.
This
too.
movie's not doing that.
No.
And so the stuff that I like about the movie, which is like I think the horror sequences are good or well done. I think the kids' performances are good. I think it's shot really well. Like I do think Cronin is using the split diopter a lot.
Yeah, it was really cool, but by the 40th time, like there's like a diopter shot like every 7 seconds.
I don't think I said this to you. I think I said this. We had a call for a different project that Dave couldn't make this week, and not to call you out, but just explaining why you weren't there.
Sorry, I have the job.
In the interviews, Cronin talks about the diopter, the split focus shots, and he's basically said that he doesn't like doing insert shots, which I've heard filmmakers say because they're just like they're so like what was the word you used? It I was talking about it when we were talking about it over Zoom. like they're just so clinical. Like they're not as artistic in the sense of just like it's purely information. It's like a shot of someone grabbing a book. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't like doing insert shots, which I've heard other filmmakers say before too. And so he uses the diopter as kind of a replacement for that, and also he thinks
Interesting.
because it fucks with the expectation, like you know what I mean, it
Yeah.
disrupts the visual language of the movie, which I agree with his sentiment. I just think to
I
what
don't
you're
think
saying,
you only get so many bites at that, you know?
you have to, in doing that, and I'm not saying he doesn't understand this, but like in doing stuff like that where you're like, I'm replacing this type of shot with a very niche, quote unquote niche shot that is used as style, that's very, very stylized. Like you if you keep using it, you have to understand that that power goes away.
Yeah, if
So
you're going to use it multiple times, you have to link it
the
for a
first
specific
you know
purpose.
4 or 5 times it
if you're
happens,
going to train us with that,
you
but-
are throwing off the visual language of the movie. But then once you get 30 minutes into the movie, you're settled in the fact that that's just the language of the movie. So
Yeah.
any kind of eeriness is now diminished. But that is apparently why he uses it, or why
Okay.
he said in the interview that I had seen that's why he uses it.
The one I saw, he just forgot to take it off.
He was just like, "Fuck that, let's keep it on
They
there."
were like, it's going to... Sorry.
Can
Thank God.
I, on that topic, I want to throw this out there because I don't have much to say about this one because I watched half of it and I didn't like it. I respect it. I had mentioned it to you guys, but like, it's a different genre and a different language.
Yeah.
As I was watching it, it's like there's so many different shots, how they convey it, and it, like there's such an art in making me feel bad.
Yeah.
As I just the normal things. I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, I feel bad. Something bad is going to happen. And actually, I also set a reminder on my phone to tell this story a little bit. I'm a musician. I don't know if I've really ever talked about it too much on the episode, but, and if you haven't seen those episodes, then I'm telling you now, that's my main medium and that's my main art is music. But I am very susceptible to the emotional aspect of music and the reaction. And as an anecdote, as an example, I was on the way to the theater listening to Coco, the soundtrack, because it's one of the best.
It's great.
Sobbing.
Nice.
Fair. I was for sure crying right before we watched the movie. But it made me also realize like why I was so tense and I had to leave during this movie.
So emotionally raw going into it, or
because I'm sitting here watching this and like the score, like you guys had said, like in comparison to other things in the genre, like it wasn't amazing.
yeah.
But when I'm watching the movie and it's like, and I'm sitting here like, I know something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is the moment I close my eyes. It's because of like how sensitive I was being to the reactions of the music going along with this like different language of filmmaking for me. And it was like, that's what I was like, yep, I can't do another night because those first 2 nights, like they just like capture that so well and they convey it like so clearly. And like, that's a part I can respect as like an art in the filmmaking, right? I have my totally subjective and personal gripes that like this wasn't a Brendan Fraser mummy movie and I wasn't laughing.
Yeah.
But you know, there's still an art in that I do have to respect as a movie that will, you know, be conveyed in my score. But like that was just kind of something I wanted to point out. Like one of the things I did notice about like the quality of the movie.
Fair.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie's like I think it's moderately successful. I think it's fine. The third act gets a little it's not bad. No cuts, dishes, he's running to the bathroom. The third act I think is
We're going to wait in silence for him to come back.
fair. The third act has some stuff that I like in it, like the whole bit with May Kalamawi's character, like the scorpion going in her mouth and bursting out inside her throat.
That's a gnarly sequence.
She has to reach in and pull it back out. Like all that I think is good, but then there are also moments where like Jack Rayner is like running away from Katie, and it just there's not a lot of like I don't feel particularly tense of her just walking around.
I don't think the characters are particularly interesting.
Yeah.
They're not very I don't know what like the
I just don't know them very well.
I don't know them
feel
very
like I
well,
don't
and
know
I felt
them.
like when the movie started, I felt like I had a better idea who they were, and I feel like they, after the time skip, I know there's like tragedy and that's supposed to like affect them, but they don't feel like the same people, like at all to me, and not in like this person's changed, but like I feel like their identities get less clear after the time skip, and I feel like the emotional through line of like Jack Rayner's character and like this relationship and everything, I feel like that stuff falls like really flat.
That's the part,
And
that
I think that's
falls
part of
for
why
me.
this movie is not as successful as it could be.
Sure.
I know I've griped a lot about like the mummy elements, but just like putting that aside and my beef with it being a possession movie, so I think the possession stuff's all good, but I think part of what makes like The Exorcist so effective is you are like yearning to like free the little girl in there, and you're seeing how it. What just happened?
I just knocked a thing off the mic stand. I didn't.
Oh god! I saw something and I was like, whoa, did we break something? What happened?
I'm fucking up this mic stand a lot.
It's like, are you gonna strip it like Dish did that one time?
Yeah, probably. Which is an
He
episode
hasn't-
that'll come
He
out
hasn't done that yet
in a
but
while.
That'll be funny. That'll make sense.
Or no, that comes out next month. It's Return of the Jedi, right? On Patreon.
Was it? No, I think it was one of our Spider-Man episodes where he was.
We don't know if we're doing what's Spider-Man?
What
New Spider-Man movie that comes out in July?
Regardless, that's gonna make sense later. Not now. We're not gonna explain that.
Sorry, but no.
But yeah, like I feel like because like this movie kind of, I think the climax hinges on like a father making a sacrifice
Yeah.
and stuff, and I feel like the family drama of it all isn't very well done. Have you seen? I forget if you've seen. Not Insidious.
Sinister?
Yes.
No.
Okay. There's like elements of this that reminded me of Sinister, as it does with many movies, but there's a lot of like extra like relationship drama between like Ethan Hawke and I forget who plays the wife. But they have like really good like their marriage is also like in the balance of this whole thing, and I feel like they were trying to do a little bit of that, maybe not
Yeah.
specifically like that, but the idea of like this is putting a strain on the family dynamics.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they did. I don't feel like that stuff. I was like not convinced of that at all.
No.
There's a moment where they're like arguing about like, oh, like I think we need to put Katie in a home, and she's like, you're giving up on our daughter. And I was like, given the circumstances, I think that this is like an insane thing to be fighting against.
It does get to a certain
to the point where I was
you're
just like, I'm like, I don't know if I buy that. I feel like if you're like trying to argue that you're a good mom and you're looking at what's happening to your child, I think after the first like flip out and freak out, you would have to concede that like this is like not that you're not like equipped to do that. Like I understand being like reluctant to doing that, but I think the way that like argument played
At
out
least
was
having
like
someone
I just didn't buy.
No, I definitely think some of the marriage stuff it doesn't totally work. To the Jack Rayner, I think you're talking about the characters feeling different afterwards. To be honest, I don't feel like there's good interplay between the characters, but I don't feel like I get a strong sense of who these people are in the cold
No.
open to feel like they're different later in the movie, with generally the exception of the Jack Rayner character, and this is not his fault. But like the character starts in the beginning of being like, oh, like someone talks, he's a news reporter, right? He's an on-air reporter, and his kid mentions him moving his hands around a lot. And Jack Rayner's like, oh wait, do you think I care too much? I'm like moving too much with my hands. And I feel like the movie's trying to be like, he's vain, he cares about what people think,
Yeah.
thinks for himself about himself, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And then the movie picks back up. He's at a low point. He almost takes a job in New York. He doesn't. They go back to Albuquerque. And
Presumably the strain of the Katie situation like cost him the job, or he just chose not to.
He chose not to, and the aspect of him being like self-serving, which kind of goes away.
It's
and
kind
then
of like
at the
they
end of
just
the
say
movie,
it. I don't really feel like he
No.
is that self-serving or selfish or anything. You
the
know?
hands thing isn't enough for me to feel like
Is
that.
it, like there's also like the moment where she's like Katie turns the TV off and is like, I have to keep practicing, and he just continues practicing with her. I feel like
yeah,
if you
he's a
want me
little bummed.
if you want
but
me
he's
to like
okay.
feel like the drama of his sacrifice at the end of this movie, he needs to turn the TV back on and be like, give me a sec. Like
He
I
needs
feel
to
like
be a worse dad.
I think he needs. I do. Unfortunately, I know that's like a trope, but there's a reason why that trope is so effective. Like that is the reason why like it works when you see it. And I feel like this has like that Ant-Man thing where they're like everyone's saying he's a bad dad, but I'm not really seeing any of the qualities of a bad dad here. He feels fine. Like I get the sense that he's a little flawed, but like I feel like people are way angrier at this character than they have any right to be, and it doesn't like track to me.
I just
know?
think with the movie just stops addressing him being self-serving. There's a moment where like I feel real bad. I can't remember the actress's name, but who plays the mom who plays Jack Rayner's wife in this movie.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, please
I was
pull
gonna
it
say
up.
I'll do it.
And there's a conversation where they have where she's talking about him trying to figure out what happened to Katie, and she's like, "You're just trying to find another story. Like this isn't just a story. This is our life." And I was like, I don't really buy that, because it's like, yeah, if my daughter was gone for 8 years, I would want to know what happened to her. I understand like what the movie is in its mind's eye, like trying to illustrate, but I don't think it's really doing that. And then at the end of the movie, Jack Rayner, sacrifices himself and takes the demon in so that Katie can come back. And
Did she go back to normal?
she does.
Yeah. No, they save her. She's got some like scarring and stuff, but she becomes like herself again.
Yeah. And
which is nice.
and there's this like kind of like this needs to happen. Like I'm willing to sacrifice my life to bring my daughter back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never felt like that was like
Where we were headed.
something that was at risk.
Like
Yeah.
that he wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think they want that to be like a big, and he saves his
Yeah,
daughter.
they
But I'm
do.
like, I feel like he was constantly making sacrifices to try to like figure stuff out. And
Well,
like,
he just seems like a guy who obviously loves and cares about his daughter. And
Yeah.
I don't want the movie to be like, I don't want the first half of the movie for him to be like, "Fuck you, Katie." Like I don't. It's not that.
But I bet, like, I mean, yeah. If you want me to believe he's a bad dad, like, I should see him like seeing his like daughter come back and having him being really closed off about it.
I just
And it's
don't
like,
buy the arc of the character.
I don't buy the
think
arc of any
movie
of the
invested
characters.
in them enough.
The wife was played by Leia. It's
Probably Leia.
L-A-I-A.
Probably Leia.
Yeah.
Leia Costa. And she's Larissa Cannon, and Jack Rayner's Charlie Cannon.
That's right. You're right.
And Katie Cannon.
Yeah.
Someone should have been named Nick Cannon, I think.
There's a real guy.
What?
Yeah.
But
but
is
yeah,
he a father
Dang,
too?
Jack Rayner was in
Couple times.
Transformers.
A couple times.
He is in the age of extinction. He does. Are you familiar with the Romeo and Juliet law? The whole thing that happens in that movie. Jack Rayner
Oh,
is
is that how he
dating-
became a dad in this movie?
Is this the one with
God, I
the
hope fucking
the
not.
beasts?
Yes. Or
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, it's
no.
got the
That's
Age of
Rise of
Extinction's-
the Beast.
Age of
This is
Extinction
with
is
the-
dinosaurs.
The
I don't think
Dinobots.
Dinobots.
Seen
Yeah.
this one actually.
Jack
Dang.
Rayner. It's a piece of shit.
It
It seems
not
like an
good.
airplane movie. That's
Jack-
where I watched the
If
other one.
that.
Jack Rayner plays the guy who's dating Mark Wahlberg's daughter, and she's 18 and he's 22, I think.
Isn't she 16?
No, she's 18, I think. Or she might be
'cause
17 or
I
something.
think I think she's got to be like 17 or something. 'Cause,
there's a
like otherwise
whole-
that joke isn't as gross. Like I'm just like, oh, okay.
There's
well,
a whole moment in the movie where Wahlberg is like, "You're like in your 20s. Like, how the fuck are you dating my daughter not in jail?" And Jack Rayner pulls out from his wallet, and there's a close up like insert shot. Sorry, Lee Cronin. Insert shot of
he's like
a laminated piece of paper that is like legal text that he apparently keeps around in his wallet at all times, presumably for when he is threatened with being arrested.
yes, for
And-
being a pedophile, pedophile or whatever.
He says the Romeo and Juliet law, because they met when they were both underage, it's fine if he's still dating his daughter who's currently still underage.
yeah,
Gross and weird, and fuck that movie.
yeah, very uncomfortable. I will
but-
say Jack Rayner's very good in Midsommar.
He is very good.
And
in
I feel
Midsommar.
like his character in this is supposed to
Also-
have that like a similar kind of baggage going into this one. Maybe not to the same degree, but
I don't know.
You
I
know-
honestly can't make heads or tails what they want this character to be, which is the problem.
yeah,
It's like that thing where it's like, I feel like they want him to be more of a shithead. I'm like, well, he spends most of the movie caring for his daughter. And then it's like,
Yeah,
I feel like he wants to be a caring father. It's like, well, he also is kind of like self-serving, and like they try to
yeah,
make it
they
seem like he
don't-
gives a big
they're-
sacrifice. So
they're-
I don't know what they're
too in the
going
middle
for.
on what like the defect is. You know, the character like the Achilles heel or whatever.
Sure, what his character flaw is.
And I'm like, I'm all for like this is straining the family. Like it's not just Katie at stake; it's their marriage, it's them
Yeah.
as a family. Like that's all. Like I'm here for it. I just don't think it's executed very well, and I think that's another element where I'm like, yeah, like I mean, the horror sequences are really, I think, the only thing this movie really has going for it. At the end of the day,
Where do we
but-
stand on narrative runway?
I don't think this movie has a lot of narrative runway personally.
I would agree.
I want to be interested in these characters. I want to be interested in this lore, but I'm not.
Yeah, my it's like, yeah, there is lore, and like the demon can go from one person to the next. So you can make the argument that it's like, oh, we do a sequel to this, and it's like it's found a new host, or it's out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it can live on. But I don't think I've made this argument, but there will be an episode at some point this season where I make this argument. You have to make me care, and I don't think I care. I can appreciate the swing of this movie, but I think I'd be more interested in seeing a new take on the Mummy than a specific continuation of this Mummy.
Yeah.
I know we're getting the Brendan Fraser. We're getting Mummy 4 or 3 if Tomb of the Dragon Emperor isn't canon anymore.
3.5?
Yeah, whatever it is.
2.5 maybe?
With by the Radio Silence
Dude,
guys.
even
Mummy
Tomb
1.5?
of the Dragon Emperor's lit.
I haven't watched it forever,
You
so
know,
I
it's funny.
withhold my opinions, but I remember liking it as a kid.
One day we're going to cover those. I'm going to sound like I'm a hater on those, but I think the choice to do like Chinese mythology and like having like terracotta mummies,
That's all cool.
fucking sick as hell. I don't think
Yeah.
that movie's not as bad as I would probably if you have a conversation with me. I definitely sound like I'm a hater of that movie. I think it's fine, but like I think that some of the choices they're going with it very cool.
It's also universally like pretty.
Yeah.
Most people don't like that movie, so if you don't like it, you don't.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's just missing the things. I don't think it's there's some dumb stuff in that I think kind of holds the movie back. But
Sure.
when they're fighting terracotta mummies, I'm like,
It's a cool
I'm
idea.
strapped in.
But yeah, I
Liam
don't.
Cunningham is in that.
Oh yeah, fucking Game of Thrones.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's
he's
a
good. He's
great
good.
actor.
Yeah, I just don't feel like, despite creating like some lore that I think is kind of fun, I'm not really needing. I feel like I've explored this.
Yeah, I think
They
they explored
explored
this
it.
as well,
I get
especially
it.
with this like second ending they have, where they
Yeah.
like put it. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I would have
It
been
ends
kind of
with-
interesting. Oh yeah, just the ending of this movie is they wheel Jack Rayner, who's covered in the like sacred
He's
bandages
taken
and stuff,
from the Mummy.
and they wheel him
host.
to the mom who like kidnapped Katie in the first place. And the implication is that they put the demon inside her.
So that way Jack Rayner can be back and they're a complete family.
Yeah,
again.
because there's like a moment where Katie, post being possessed, is like doing the Morse code on. Not they have their own sarcophagus. They take this giant. Because did you see
Yeah,
the big
the
box
chest
that they
of
had all the
letters.
letters in?
It was a coffin, right?
Yeah, it was like a big
was
coffin of
essentially a
letters.
coffin.
Yeah, it was
It
a
was a-
very weird thing.
I mean, I haven't bought a
It is a
a
weird bit of
7 foot
yeah,
7 foot
I
chest
think that
recently.
that big chest needed its own explanation. My theory is that it's in lieu of having an actual body to bury.
I
we're
thought
gonna
it was
put-
like her coffin. Yeah.
Yeah, this is sort of a symbolic thing, but it is interesting that it's not actually buried.
It's also one
well,
of those things.
my-
where
But you know, like
My
I would have
immediate
loved an
interpretation-
explanation and a sequence of Jack Rayner feverishly like digging up his like the knot coffin. Like I'm like I don't know if,
you're
we're gonna
gonna
do this.
make that the
My
If we're gonna
thought
do this
was, like-
psychological drama, let's get some Edgar Allan Poe elements in here. You know?
sure.
I figured
Um,
that was like the coffin they had at like the ceremony where like people put stuff in for her.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
That's why the letters were in there.
would have been nice to see.
would have been nice to see. Yeah, there's things I wish
It-
I had seen in this that I think would have made me less distracted, and I think I would have bumped up against this movie less if I had.
To that the coffin full of letters. It is that when I did see it, I was like, well, someone's going in there. Like
Yeah,
I
exactly, yeah.
was like, there. No one has like a chest of letters that's like 8 feet tall like that.
Yeah,
like
no,
that
it's very
looks just
odd.
like a coffin.
Like I have a steamer trunk in my garage, but it's not big enough to put a person in it.
you say that like
we'll
you
cut
know.
that.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. No cuts.
But
I'm taking volunteers to test this fully though.
yeah. So Rayner comes back presumably, and they
Yeah,
trap.
and then they have a
the
happy
mummy and
ending.
this mom.
Yeah, and then they get revenge on her. But I'm like,
The mom who died?
yeah,
She was shot, but she didn't die.
she
She
turned
was
out
shot
she
in the
didn't die.
chest and didn't die.
Yes,
That doesn't even seem realistic.
Well,
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm like,
there's a mummy.
I'm also like,
I suppose.
even being able to like pull the demon out like, exactly 5 minutes after it goes into Jack Rayner. I'm like, okay, so what's that sacrifice even mean? You know?
It does change the feeling, the weight of the sacrifice, where it's like, oh, so you guys can just kind of like pass this off like a
Yeah,
baton.
this is a hot potato situation.
It doesn't have the same sacrifice level as
Yeah, I think
The Mummy 2017.
I also like
when
horror
they
movies
put
with
him
dark endings.
when they put him in there, and then him and his undead friend run around the
Yeah,
desert.
Jake Johnson. Jake
Yeah,
Johnson's like, by the way, I'm back.
I feel like part of the other thing is like
that
this,
had more.
yeah, it does actually, because even when he's like doing the
Such
sacrifice,
a shitty ending.
I'm like,
what a bad movie.
Yeah, I just yeah, but even when like Jack Rayner's making the sacrifice, I'm like, oh okay. You know, like I'm not
Well,
like
'cause
I'm
he
like
was
I'm like
so-
oh
yeah.
and he's good. I'm not like oh
I
the
saw that
power
should
have
of
been the brother.
father's love. You know,
I saw that shit from a mile away.
yeah, no, like I was
I was
yeah,
like,
it's just
yeah,
it's really
he'll
obvious kind
take
of where
over
they're
the
headed,
thing.
and I feel like that's where like this for a movie that's like taking inspiration from Seven. It's not very twisty turny in my opinion. I also feel like the ritual, while the setup for it is really dark, I feel like it's pretty easy.
It is kind of a hard sequence to watch, I will say.
It is like
the
watching them
sequence
watch
of watching
that, yeah.
the video is rough.
I will also say earlier in the movie when they are like, we found your daughter, and they're like walking them through like she was in a sarcophagus that fell out of a plane. They have fairly muted reactions to
That-
the craziest sentence I've
yeah,
ever
it's
heard.
absolutely fucking bad shit.
So I think that they almost scoop it up where they're like, this is common for
Yeah,
human trafficking.
Which
Yeah,
I
and
agree,
that
like
is
but
her
true.
state could be somewhat,
yeah,
but they
which-
should be like, hey, it's an extreme case, but hey,
Yeah,
it's possible.
But I'm just
Once you start-
specifically Jack Rayner's response to that is like, what?
yeah.
Why? And I'm like, no. Your reaction should be like a sarcophagus.
Yeah, it's a lot more like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I feel like I mean that could
I
be
feel like-
unintentionally funny, but I feel like you have almost that's a ridiculous thing to say.
I feel like
I think
they
they
play
should have
off the
leaned into
shock.
some of that a little bit.
I feel like they play off the shock pretty well. It's like it's been 8 years and you find out and it's like, oh, she was in a sarcophagus. Like,
Yeah,
You're
but
all-
like
what
are you-
even
what are
with
you gonna
that,
do
I'm
as a
like,
parent?
there's
What are you
like
gonna
this
say?
idea of like there's a whole like
Like a mummy.
yeah, I just
That's what you say.
but like the whole like for these parents, there's like a whole like business of like moving people that they're not particularly interested in. I know they have like, oh, we just want to like help our daughter like reacclimate, so I think they're a little distracted with that. But I feel like I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like that is such a crazy thing to be like
sure.
presented, and I don't feel like the reactions. I don't feel like they line up.
what would you do?
I mean,
You just found your daughter after 8 years.
I'm just like specifically like the performance of it all. I think the reaction is kind of muted for what is a crazy sentence.
Sure. Do we
Like not just human trafficking, which I thought was on the table, but mummy sarcophagus, plane crash, like all of it. It's like that's like bad shit. Like I feel like we needed Bryan Cranston and Breaking Bad levels of like,
Yeah.
you know, like I just find it very like muted and like
Sure, I see that.
they're just like kind of mildly confused. I think.
Do we want to get into score?
Probably a good time to get in a score, yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I have a question thought actually before, as
Okay.
you guys know horror more than me. So there's an interesting trope potentially, at least in my mind, of like common sense.
A trope of common sense.
On
It's
your
kind of a
point,
trope
your
in horror
daughter
movies.
comes out of a sarcophagus.
Yeah.
At what point are you like demons?
Yeah, I.
That is hard because you know,
what I
obviously
mean? She
we
looks
have
like that.
That's the thing. They don't seem to suspect demons are on the table most of
or
the
get
movie.
freaked out at all. And
I would
it's-
say two things because I say this in defense of the movie, but also kind of standing with you guys on this as well. They do say like, you know, she was without light or sunlight, like her skin is gonna be. They kind of explain why she appears the way she does.
Yeah,
They don't know demons are real, so they're not gonna jump to demons. But I do think at a certain point when she's like the first, it's like pretty early in the movie where she's like angling her back and she's like doing full ecstasy. She's like half levitating off the bed.
after she headbutts grandma.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
what?
at that
That
point,
part is
at that
crazy.
point, one of them should have been like, "This isn't just locked in spasms." That
when
was
they
weird.
rip
Did they
the
ever
skin
say-
off of her leg and she doesn't respond,
Yeah.
and then her dad catches her with a fire poker, stabbing her
No,
open
no.
wound.
Yes, that was
I was like-
incredibly Exorcist.
That was the level where I'd be like, yeah, something else might be
Did-
going on.
Yeah, and I'm
here.
like okay if they're like in denial about it, but they
Yeah.
should be like
that was the
they should
moment
be
for me where I was
thinking
like,
something
Question.
else is, and I also think that's a missed opportunity to be like for them to be exploring that avenue. I think.
Did any of them ever say that's not my daughter? Because I
no.
thought they were going to be saying that when they first saw her.
That's the thing.
I
feel
thought that
like
was it.
one adjustment that I think would have made this movie clearer and stronger is that I think the Jack Rayner character should have been like, "That's not Katie." That's not Katie.
Yeah.
And he should have been
Or I
like,
thought it was going to be in
or
the fight
just-
when she was like, I'm trying to love
Yeah,
our daughter. And he would have
and-
been like, that's not her.
or like, because I like this idea of the mom is like, I'm going to pour and I'm going to drop everything to try and
I'm gonna
save my
make this
daughter.
work.
And to the point where it's almost like, I don't think we can help her. And like, that's part of the drama of like, she can't give up like that. Like
the
I
mom
can't
doesn't
admit-
get it, but Jack is like, that's not
like, or even
my
like just
daughter.
her being like in denial about it, but she's like pretty confident that she can like fix her. And I'm like, I don't know that you should be that confident. This is bad. This is a really gnarly situation. And so I feel like the way the mom goes into it, I feel like they're kind of on the surface of it. I think they need to go harder with that. I think Jack Rayner's character should have been like, that's not my daughter and she's still out there, or I need to figure out what happened. Something's not adding up. And he should have been like ignoring the daughter in favor of trying to figure out the mystery more. And that could have like brought their like drama of like, your daughter's here and you're ignoring her. And like, I feel like that's what they want that conversation to be. But because they've
Yeah.
played everyone so in the middle of their directions that it's like, what is this fight? I don't,
Yeah.
but that's just like for me.
I think one thing before maybe going into score, like you were saying, you know what part I really didn't like?
the toenails.
The piggies part. Isn't that the line?
Oh, that was
where
a
she
gnarly
licks her
moment.
sister's
when
toes.
she's like, you
that
know what I
moment
want
was
to
great, but it
you
was
know-
fucking nasty.
You know what I want to get to know about you? How your little piggies taste and the tongue comes out. I was like,
See, it's shit like that where like that's a
That's
deadite
like- I
thing
think
to say.
That's a very Deadite thing, which I like
That's what I
love, but
left.
that's another thing where you're like, that's not very.
That's
not
when I was like,
very
all right,
mummy,
I'm done.
you know,
like, I
like-
don't want to know this movie anymore, and I had to leave. But that was, that scene. I think those nights, as a movie, were really effective
Yeah.
and led me to leave. But yeah, those were the ones where I was like, that's very unsettling.
Yeah, well, it's fair. And yeah,
It worked.
The Evil Dead movies, the
Yeah.
Exorcist movies do those. And again, it's hard to do the shtick that other movies do the same way, and for me to not be like, all right, so your version of a mummy is just a deadite.
Yeah.
Which it's like, you've built up such a different version of this mummy. That's exciting. I wish
Yeah.
we weren't just like falling back on old habits.
That's the other thing. Like, this
with
could have
its characterization.
very quickly become an Evil Dead movie. Like actually, like if you just change it where he gets the Book of the Dead to revive his like dead daughter who's been kidnapped for a ritual.
Yeah.
Like you're just like that. It's an Evil Dead movie. Like,
Sure.
and like it's like you can just drop the mummy stuff like very, very easily, and that bums me out because I wanted to see a mummy.
Sure.
But yeah, I think the kid performances are good. I feel like this script does a disservice for the parents at
I
least.
think
I
there's
feel like
some
the
strong
writing's not as strong
ideas,
there.
but it's not coming together for
Yeah,
me.
it doesn't fully come together, I think. But this is probably a good time to get in a score.
What would your score be then? Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give this 1 point for quality because I do think like the cinematography. I think the scares are really good.
Should we say if this is a new movie? Should we talk about what the score is, or are we far enough into this show that we don't have to do this anymore?
I mean, we have the video posted on the YouTubes.
That's
I think
true.
we
We've
haven't
talked about it
listened
in
to
other
it. I think
movies,
we've
yeah.
we've,
Okay.
we've
Sorry,
broken
go
down
ahead,
this
go
score
ahead.
a lot. Yeah.
I'm
You know,
kidding.
I got my 3 points. I'm gonna divvy them up and I'll explain them as I go. So I mean, if you can't piece
Fair.
it together as I'm talking,
yeah,
you
this
know,
is our rating system. Yeah.
you know, this is our rating system. You know, if it's really confusing, just go. We have a video.
And if this was the first episode that you started watching this podcast for, watch our other ones about better movies.
yeah.
yeah,
we
I'm
have
sorry
some
if this
good
is the one
movies.
you're entering on. This is not a great start. I would
Props to you, but
strongly recommend Dungeons and Dragons and Speed Racer. Those are, I
Yeah.
think, better places.
Spider-Man.
to drop.
Statistically, if they've landed on this, I have a feeling they've seen our Speed Racer episode.
Probably, but
that episode did pretty well.
But okay, so I'm gonna give this 1 point for quality. I hesitated about giving it a half because I do bump up against a lot of stuff, but I do feel like ultimately the scares are really good, and this being a horror forward movie, I think they are successful in that. So I'll give them the full point for that.
Okay.
And the music's great. I think the scares are great. Rewatchability, I'm gonna give it a half point. I don't know that I have any interest in rewatching this, but
Sure.
I could find myself like warming up to this on another rewatch and maybe just like sort of in like a M. Night Shyamalan trap kind of way, just being like, well, this is kind of ridiculous. Maybe if I just like let myself go, maybe I'll enjoy it. But I don't know that I will. It's too early to tell. But so I'm just gonna go with the half point, being a little conservative on that point. And then narrative runway, no points for me. I don't think the characters are strong enough, and I don't know that they actually get into the lore of this particular demon enough. Like it's too vague and too much like Exorcist or Evil Dead for me to be like, I just want to watch those movies more.
Yeah.
So that's that. So 1.5 for me.
Mine, I also gave this 0 for narrative runway. I don't think it makes me. It sets up some lore that I enjoy, but I don't know if it really is begging for it to be told again. Rewatchability, I gave this a half. I think the sequences are good, and I could see wanting to rewatch those. But again, the movie is kind of falling into like things in horror that I have seen before, and while it's still doing that effectively, I think I'd rather watch the movies that I think have done it better. And I would probably find myself defaulting to those movies, defaulting to Exorcist, defaulting to Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Before going to this guy, so I'm giving this half. And in quality, I gave it a half point as well. I did not give it the full point. I considered the full point for a second, but my thing is, I think like again, shot very well. I like some of the performances. I think the makeup work is good. I think the music is fine. I think because it is trying to go deeper with a family drama, and it's offering that, and I still appreciate its attempt, and I don't think the movie shouldn't have done that, but I think it doesn't go far enough to hit the emotional beat of what it's trying to do. So while it's effective in its horror construction, in its sequences, I think its overall story kind of leaves a decent chunk to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate it trying to do something different, which is what made me kind of lean towards maybe getting a full point. But it didn't sit right with me to say like, this is like solid as a full construction of a film. I don't think it is. So I'm going to give it the half. So this gets a 1 for me.
A 1.
A movie that I still like, but our rating system.
But like, if you're going to want to watch it, you might just put on Evil Dead Rise.
We're not Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
We are not Rotten Tomatoes.
We're not critic scores.
And this is also not necessarily a review of the movie, even though it's mostly.
This is on whether or not we need another.
The narrative runway
question is, do we want more of this?
Yeah, does it beg itself the story to continue?
Yes.
I don't think it does.
All right. And
so it's a 1.
One for you?
1 out of 3.
I give it a generous 1.5.
Okay.
I actually give it a full point for quality.
Well, yeah, the horror was so effective you got up and left.
Yeah.
So.
I left.
That's true.
I thought the movie was shot physically well. I respected it. The color, all of it aided.
It looks great.
It does
love
look
the look
aided
of this.
what I would think is the purpose of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So effective, I left. I didn't want to watch anymore. It was so scary. Rewatchability. Not even gonna make a joke, but this is so subjective, and so I give it a 0. I do not want to rewatch this movie because of the quality. It was so good. And narrative runway, I give it a half point.
Okay.
I think there's some lore. Subjectively, I want to give it a 0, but again, I will be generous and give it a half point in the sense that I think they could do more. I think you could jump thing to thing. I think knowing that there's a second ending, I feel like they should have just left it in Jack's character. And
I agree.
I
think like what comes again in 8 years? I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been better. I think.
Yeah, I think that there is something. Would I prefer personally that they turn it into mummy lore versus demon lore? 100%. Let's run with that. That could be more fun. I might give it a full point for that, but half point. So 1.5, which gives us a 4 from all of us.
Which 6 over 6 is our indicator for needing one more.
So we have determined we do not need more.
No, I think this is a good attempt.
I like the swing.
I'm excited.
I don't think it's very successful though.
I'm excited. I'll be there for whatever Lee Cronin does next.
I will too. I think he's a
James
good director.
Wan.
I think he's a very strong director.
No disrespect to anybody who's making this movie. Like, I don't think they have bad intentions. I really appreciate the swing.
Other than giving me nightmares.
Yeah, what the fuck, guys. But I appreciate the swing, but I spade a spade. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. Yeah. It's worth a watch. I don't think it's
worth a watch. If you like horror, I think you'll be right at home.
Yeah,
if you like horror,
if you don't like horror, don't watch it.
If you don't, there's not really a lot I think this movie has to offer beyond some really good horror. So I think you know, if that's for your bag and you like seeing some cool kills, then this movie will be for you. But but yeah, I think as a swing and an attempt at the Mummy as a character, I don't think it's very successful, and I don't need.
But we
more of
will
this, but
probably be revisiting this
yeah,
franchise.
This will probably get opened back
Hopefully
up.
we will
in
be.
a couple years with another Brendan Fraser movie.
Hopefully we will be.
We will see how that gets structured.
Yeah, we'll
Because
see.
there's technically there's a silent movie. There's a silent. Well, they're not a silent movie. There's a black and white and a Peter Cushing mummy movie also. There's more mummy movies to talk
and then
about.
Returns in Tomb of the Dragon.
Returns.
I was gonna say even those two. I feel like.
Well, I mean, it'll probably just be those two, but
We'll see.
We'll see what
Who
happens.
knows?
We'll see.
But next week we'll find out if the devil still wears Prada.
Yes.
She'll
She'll wear two Pradas.
Yes, she will. Shoes and pants.
Shoes.
And yeah, we'll be talking Devil Wears Prada 2.
Devil Wears Prada 2.
Very excited.
No, not a question.
It's true. It's not a
Statement.
question. That's what we're doing. It's on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go watch this movie. You know, to quote
If you want.
Karsten Runquist, inform your own opinion.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I would love to talk. I think this is a fun movie to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Despite its flaws. Oh no, it's because of its flaws. Honestly, I think it's good to talk about. Any final thoughts before we hop ourselves into a coffin for 8 years and are never seen again? It's kind of a dark joke. Sorry about that.
Well, I have one thought, and it's more of like a question for Dish. What would it take for you to rewatch this movie?
Interesting.
Like, what is it?
Interesting.
And to make it through?
Like to make it
Yeah.
through. Like, what would it take? What could I offer you? Like $1 million, $2 million?
We're talking in the millions.
$1 million?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think like
not like $1,000. Like
yeah, we're talking in the millions.
like an
just because
unrealistic
of-
amount of money for you to be like.
It would have to be unrealistic.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Just a
there's.
stupid amount of money.
What if-
and you're just
Yeah.
like, okay.
What if the fans demanded it?
I don't care. The fans can go watch it themselves.
If
and
we
I
get
would
to
say that's-
100 Patreon subscribers, he
No.
will finish this movie.
no.
Yeah, how many Patreon subscribers do we need before you'd watch it?
Actually, let's do this. No, what would it take? What's the number?
And you can make it a
We can
million
make it really
and we'll never
high.
hit it. But it'll cause the
But
surge.
if we can get a fervor going,
We're talking 300 Patreon subscribers.
300 Patreon.
300.
I think that in a realistic sense,
Okay.
if we did, if there was enough people,
If we get 300,
you
I
feel
would-
comfortable saying 300.
I would respect it enough to do it.
Okay.
Just
I-
once. I'm not saying like I'm going to rewatch it every day and like this is now my life.
This
but,
is
like,
just watch it from start to finish once, and it can be in the safety of your own home.
no,
you can have
not in my
whatever other
house.
things. Not in your
also,
house.
nobody
I don't
can
want
know.
it in my house.
We're
No.
not gonna, I mean, maybe, I don't know. We're not saying we'll live
I mean,
stream
we have
it.
to live stream it.
No, I think if we do this, we have to. You have to
There
sit
would
there,
have
and
to
we
be a
have
live
to. We have to have a
stream.
companion
Yeah.
audio to
That's
go with
true.
it. So, invite your friends to join the Patreon. Let's
But
see if
not
we get to
too
that number
many.
300.
I thought you were gonna say like 15,000 or something.
I think you said that number too low, but I like 300 as a number, so we're doing this.
Yeah.
I'm making this happen.
If like I think I respect it enough that if there were 300 people that saw this episode, which I've
And
seen the
I will
numbers,
say-
I don't think.
I will
And
say,
I've seen the
Dish,
movie
It's fair.
mostly, so I don't think there would be.
Yeah.
I will say, Dish, if this happens and we watch it, we have 300 people. We can watch
Yeah.
this on your terms, how you want to watch it. It can be on an
Yeah.
iPad Nano. But
That's true. Go watch it on a small
I will.
screen. It's less
I will
scary.
allow that.
Lights on. I
But-
would for sure be watching it with the lights on.
Do we have a deal,
Yeah.
Mr. Producer?
Yeah, no. If we get 300, I'd do it. But
That's
right.
crazy. You heard
Invite
it here
your
first.
friends. If you
don't
wanna
subscribe
see,
to our Patreon.
Unsubscribe
Let
from the
me
subscribe
Patreon.
just to make
Can
him
I
mad.
also actually
Just-
say
now I'm rage
that
baiting
this is like 300 before the end of summer?
Okay.
The end of this summer?
Yeah, because like
All
this
right.
isn't
Okay.
like because I hope that we can get 300 Patreon subscribers like next year in the next season.
Okay.
Sure.
This is termed.
Okay.
By the end of August.
End of August.
Share
Okay.
this episode with your friends.
Share it. Let's
Yeah.
get those numbers
Steal
up.
their credit card information.
Yeah, if it would be by the end of summer, I'd be in. But no, there is for sure an ending.
Fair.
Got it.
All right,
Fair enough,
noted.
Fair enough.
300 by the end of the summer.
300
August?
by the end of August.
August.
So
End of August or beginning of August?
We'll post what franchise.
End of
that is.
August.
August 31st.
First? I think there's a
Sure.
first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to re-record or record additional like bits for the episodes that we have already stockpiled to keep track of it and
To
encourage
keep
it.
track of the number. Yeah, that's
We
true.
got some. Whenever we come back for a new movie, there's a couple we're doing.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see
We'll check back in.
if there's something to report back on. But yeah, I'll catch you guys. Hey, well, not Dish. Dish won't be here next week.
Dish
No.
won't be here next week.
I'll be
but
graduating. Bye.
We're proud of him.
We're proud of him. We'll see you all next week. Headphones up.
Thanks for listening to another episode of We Need One More.
Be sure to click on the link for our socials and to subscribe to our Patreon, as those are the best ways to support the podcast.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.